Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, boxing prospect review video. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I figured I would do one of these just on any prospect. I'm doing two of them, so you'll see another one after this. In this video right here, we're going to talk about a prospect coming out of the UK, a guy that signed to the Eddie Hearns stable. A guy that I really haven't talked about on this channel, but he's literally, if you go look at any Joshua card or anything like that, any one of the big UK matchroom shows, this guy's always on the undercard. So I've been ignoring him for a while in terms of making videos. So I figured I'd give him a little love or a little shine. We're gonna talk about Mr. Joe Cordina. Joe Cordina, 8-0, 6 KOs, 2016 Olympian, 26 years old. He campaigns at lightweight. So Joe Cordina, man, let's talk about him. His last fight, I had a chance to watch it. I just watched it. He fought Sean Dodd, 15-3-1. Sean Dodd was a domestic level, a proven domestic level like UK fighter. Sean Dodd, in his career, he's held British Commonwealth championships and things like that. So he's not a bum, but he's definitely, if you're someone like a Joe Cordina, that's a Olympian, someone that Eddie Hearns signed because he thinks that this guy can become a world champion, then this is a guy that you should beat easily. And he did. To his credit, he did. Sean Dodd he has 4 losses now, but Sean Dodd, he's been stopped 3 times, and in that fight with Cordina, Cordina was the first opponent that beat him that failed to stop him. So I don't know if you want to read too much into that. If you go watch the fight, it looked like a lot like Joe Cordina was kind of just going through the rounds. But I do think it is still kind of alarming when you do that because you should be stopping a guy who's 34 years old who has been stopped 3 times because if a guy like Tommy Coyle or Scott Cardell or these domestic level fighters in the UK, they can stop him, then you should be too. And it is what it is, man. As far as Joe, the way I would classify Joe and his style and the way he fights, for those of you who have watched another Eddie Hearn prospect, Josh Kelly. For any of you who watch Josh Kelly, think of a more conventional Josh Kelly. He does a lot of the same things like Josh Kelly, but he's more conventional with it. He's not boxing with his hands down, and he's quick, but he don't have Josh Kelly level quickness, and he's not a reflex fighter. So the only difference between him and Josh Kelly is that Cordina is just more coordinated and doesn't rely on reflexes too much. But literally, the way they move, the way they slip shots, the way they throw their shots, it looks very, very similar. So with Cordina, I would also say with the way he fights too is like he's still, and fighters always have this problem if they were top level amateurs or they had long amateur careers. Some fighters had this problem their whole entire career, and some fighters get rid. For every fighter it's different, but some fighters break out of this quicker. But with Joe Cordina, I noticed that the way he still fights is a very amateurish style. And what that means when I say that, a lot of you guys may hear me say, "Oh, this guy fights in an amateurish style." What that simply means is that when he punches you, he's not only throwing these punches to hurt you. He's throwing them to score. Or maybe that when I said that might also mean that he's not, when he throws a hook or an uppercut, he's not turning it the way you need to turn it to hurt the opponent and get him out of there. So those are things that I noticed with Joe Cordina. He's very fundamentally sound. Like, don't get it twisted. The guy has a fantastic jab, and I love one thing I love about fighters. When I sit there and I look at any fighter, the first thing I'll always look at is 2 things: his footwork, balance, and his jab. Those are the things I look at, and then from then on, I begin to evaluate the fighter. With Joe, he's got good balance, and he's got a really good jab. And he knows how to throw that jab different ways. He knows how to double up on it, and that's even more of a plus for Joe Cordina. So I like that about him. But I think once he begins to step, and this is my opinion, maybe he's kind of like Kaleo Fai, because Kaleo Fai is another Eddie Hearn fighter that I used to say this about, and then he fought someone who made him how to kind of fight more, and you saw him being able to hurt the guy and fight in a style where he had to rely more on his power. So with Joe, I can't really say right now because he's only 8 fights in, and it's hard to judge because he's just fighting guys you would say are tick-over opponents or stay-busy opponents. Joe, just the way he throws his shots, I'm just going off how he throws his shots. he looks like he really looks like he needs to work on that in the gym, because he was able to hurt this guy, but if he was able to turn the shots a little more effectively, I think he would have got him out of there. But that's just what I saw. This guy Joe Cordina, I like him. I do like him. I wouldn't say I'm as high on him as Josh Kelly. I'm very high on Josh Kelly just because I think his ceiling is a lot higher than Joe's. But Joe Cordina, I think, is someone that could run into a world title, could be a world title holder. Particularly in a lot of boxing too, you gotta understand this too. A lot of boxing comes down to who do you have behind you. As much as it sucks to say, who do you have behind you? And he has what I deem and what many people deem is the best promoter in boxing, and probably right now, matchroom boxing. I would say year after year after year, since I would say at least since 2014 or 2014 from 2014 to now, they have become just behind Top Rank. I'm putting them right behind Top Rank because Top Rank has the best reputation of doing this. They behind Top Rank are probably the best at matching their prospects and building their prospects. And I think, with Joe, sky's the limit for him. Sky's the limit for him. He's someone that sparred with Jorge Linares as well. Jorge Linares had great things to say about him. So if you're getting sparred with a guy like that, it can only make you better as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how his career pans out as he steps up in that position, because he has some really, really good qualities. He has some fantastic qualities in his skill set. I mentioned the balance. I mentioned the fundamentals. Even the speed. One thing I haven't really talked about here is the speed. The speed of his punches. He's got, when he throws a jab, it's back. He'll throw the jab. It's there and it's back immediately. And then he's either doubling up on it or he's setting up the next punch. But my only thing I only like about Joe Cordina, two things is, like I said, he doesn't really turn. He still needs to work on getting the leverage on the shots to hurt the opponents. And like I said, that takes time. Some fighters break out of that, some don't. That was actually kind of one of my problems with Amir Khan, and you guys may have heard me say this before. Amir Khan's problem is that he's still, and I think he's never going to change. He is what he is. Amir Khan has a very amateur style, which against some fighters will work, because if you have an amateur style and you know how to score points and you know how to land punches, then if you're fighting someone that doesn't really have the footwork to find a power punch to hurt you, or you find someone who doesn't have any power at all, then you can beat them on points and maybe you get an accumulation stoppage. But when you run into somebody who has some power, your ass is grass. And we've seen that with Amir Khan. We've seen that with Danny Garcia. We've seen that with Breedis Prescott. And even before Breedis Prescott beat him, there was guys he fought on the way up that would hurt Amir Khan. And a lot of that is because he fights in a very amateur style where he's throwing the punch to score, but he's not really turning the shots. It's funny, but not to ramble too much, but like even in his career, there were times in his career where, like, when I say times, I mean like one or two fights where he wasn't fighting like an amateur. Like if you go watch how he fought Maidana in those first couple rounds, he was throwing them shots to hurt you, and that's kind of the Amir Khan that we all wanted, at least for me, that I wanted to see again. But really we haven't seen. That guy has not showed up since that fight. So Joe Cordina, I think with him, he'll develop into a good fighter. He'll develop into a guy that will challenge for world titles. And that's that. But as far as him being the guy in the division and being a best fighter in the lightweight division, once he gets to that top level, he's gonna have his work cut out for him. I really think he is, because he has all the skills, he has everything you need, he has the amateur experience. But when you get to the top level, you're gonna need to know how to fight different styles. And he hasn't even got to that part of his career yet where he's fought the different styles to learn how to fight inside, to fight outside. He's just been fighting takeover opponents. So once he steps up, we'll know more about who he really is as a fighter. But just based on what we've seen, he's definitely someone that I know for a fact, unless he just really sucks and he's a hype job, he's someone that I know for a fact will at some point in his career be a top 10 lightweight fighter at some point in his career. So that's my take on Joe Cordina. Let me know what you guys think. Any of my UK fans out there who watch True School Sports, who have seen who know Joe Cordina probably more than I do. Let me know if there's anything I missed, anything significant about his skill set or his career or his background that maybe I didn't touch on, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? Where do you think Joe Cordina will eventually wind up in his career? Like, does he want to be in a guy that becomes world champion? Does he want to be in a hype job? Does he want to be in someone that is a just a solid top 10 guy? Let me know in the comments down below about Joe Cordina. Send it to him. Anybody out there, go send it to Joe Cordina. And yeah, take the time to subscribe and do all that good stuff. And like I said, in every single video, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding. So until next time, take care, guys.